Thanks for hopping on the webinar today and joining us for Radius Plus office hours. This is a live session. It's going to be covering customer feedback. Thank you for everyone who filled out the survey and gave us your thoughts on how we can improve and help add more value to your day-to-day. We'll be covering market insights, Radius Relay, and here to answer any questions you might have as well. To kick things off, just going to briefly run through who will be speaking today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm James McLean. I've been fortunate enough to serve as the head of business development here at Radius Plus for the past 6.5 years. We're also joined by our founder and CEO, James DeGorder, and welcoming Cliff Love, our head of growth as well. So I'll be taking you through today's agenda first. We just covered an introduction. I'll be covering a demo of Radius Relay and a real world example and answering any questions you might have there until the end. James DeGorder will be covering the survey feedback, his takeaways, and covering sort of the Radius Plus forecast updates, sort of where the market's at and where our predictions are and where it's going to go. And then Cliff will wrap things up by talking about the direction and roadmap that Radius Plus is heading towards, as well as being available to be a Q&A. So you've known Radius Plus as the industry-leading platform for self-storage data and site selection. We did a fantastic job of collecting information, sanitizing it, and presenting it in a way for our clients to make actionable, informed insights. But we want to take the platform and our company to something much, much bigger. So we're continuing to lead the industry through workflow capabilities with expert-backed methodologies and AI-powered tools designed to help our clients move faster, work smarter, and make more confident decisions to enabling decision intelligence, a decision advantage. And so today we're going to give you a first look at some of those capabilities to keep everyone here competitive in this next self-storage cycle. At this point, I'll pass it along to James DeGorder to kind of cover the feedback that we've garnered through the survey we put out.
Thank you, McLean. Yes, we appreciate everyone's response to the survey. We got a lot of great feedback and are actively incorporating that as quickly as possible. The biggest, most important request that everyone had was getting rid of the 1 hour limit. So this credit system is going to be retired. We're going to move away from a time-based pricing model to a volume or data priced model. And Cliff is going to speak a little bit more about how we are engaging with our clients and going to market with this. But I think this is an exciting evolution of the platform, and we're definitely committed to meeting clients, where they are in their process and enabling accounts of all budget sizes. So I encourage everyone to reach out to McLean and Cliff. We'll put their contacts here in the chat, and you can book a demo if you'd like to. Book a call if you'd like to speak with them. So September 30th is the big date. That's the last date to buy credits in the old system. Any credits that you do currently have will be available to redeem for one year after. So it's not going away immediately. There's time to redeem those credits. We'll go to the next slide here. Here are 4 other important takeaways from the survey. Export limits have been a cause of concern in the Radius app. So with our new API version 2, which is rolling out at the end of this month, we will not only be able to deliver all of the data that is requested, we will have greater flexibility in history. So we'll be able to go back, things like rental rate history, we'll be able to go back 10 years and such. So greater richness of data with our new API and removing this credit-based model. The third is occupancy data. We are now tracking CMBS data. It's about 4,000 facilities. We have 10 years of history downloaded. We are tracking this on actively on an ongoing basis, and we hope to have this data available in the Radius app as well as the API within a month or so. So we're at the last mile there in getting occupancy and in-place rents into your hands from the CMBS loans. The fourth item here is development pipeline. We're making significant investments in tracking new development. This is one of the toughest data sets to create and monitor in our industry. We have some very exciting plans to go after this data set very aggressively, tracking all municipal minutes, meeting minutes, planning and zoning to get you up to date real-time development data. So this will be one of our largest investments over the next year. So we're narrowly focused on that. And the last one here is a number of clients wish that we had custom trade areas. That's a education flaw on our end. We've got to do a better job getting that in these sort of features in front of you. Custom trade areas have been available since inception about 10 years ago. So we're going to drop in a link to a short demo, 60-second demo on how to access custom trade areas. So instead of just a radius or a drive time, you're able to draw your own custom trade areas. And as a reminder, you're also able to define your comp set as well. So you can remove facilities that may not be, within your comp set to make it apples to apples comparison in your analysis. So we'll drop that link in, and those that are interested can see how to access the custom trade areas. So those are the 5 major points from the survey. Appreciate everyone's feedback, and I'll turn it back to McLean here.
Yeah, thanks. Go ahead, Cliff.
No, I was going to say I'll run with it for a little bit. I was just going to talk about some of the Radius Relay capabilities and how we're actually bringing capabilities to the marketplace that we've been working with clients for years on, and we haven't been able to talk about them quite a bit because now we have them out in a scalable way. And you're going to hear us use language like decision advantage, decision intelligence, and capabilities. And we look at all the different areas, whether you're a developer, an operator, an investor, and others that are out there looking to help you be more successful in integrating our data, integrating our capabilities and the knowledge around the self-storage arena to help you make decisions in a faster, more capable way. And our goal is to integrate to those workflows. If you look at the slide, basically what this is representing is you still have our traditional way of ad hoc engaging with our technologies, but we're trying to insert them into your workflow, and we're helping clients today that can leverage that, integrate to different data sets, leverage AI, leverage different platforms and visualizations around getting the information out of the data that you do have. And so, McLean's going to show you some really cool capabilities around the platform. It's exciting. The API v2 is very exciting because we can get you an extreme level of richness of information to help you make these decisions as you go. But I look forward to getting to know you all better and dive into these capabilities that we can help bring to the table.
Thanks, Cliff. Appreciate the context there. And so I really challenge everyone on this webinar to think, like, what would your day look like if you could have the time back that you spent on like data entry or non-value add time and are enabled to make better decisions faster, that compound like Cliff is talking about. Each iteration of a good deal or a successful fund should give you the building blocks to have that data and compound it. And when you combine it with market data that we're able to help provide in any format, anywhere it needs to go, and have the ability to keep sort of a constant feed through refreshing it, that's when we're able to unlock a lot of possibilities. So we're able to deliver data directly into the workflow you already use. We're not here to recreate the wheel. We're here to sort of enable better data for better decisions. I'm going to use that term a lot today, but it helps you move faster and you're not going to sacrifice any granularity. So I'm going to take a second now just to, give you a little bit of a demo here on what that actually looks like in practice. So this is like a very standard competition survey, for lack of a better term, where you might input information on the market that you're collecting, identifying comps and pressure testing it to get back into a number that you can underwrite against. So in this instance, we're going to pull an address from Charlotte and bring in the comp rates within a 3-mile radius of your center point. And, you might not, Cliff and James, are you able to see my screen here okay?
Right, perhaps you could zoom in a little bit there, James, but we could see it.
All right, let's try to get a little bit more visible so it's not ants on my paper. But if I was taking a look at this market for an acquisition, I made the center point an existing facility. What I would want to figure out is what is the actual comp set in there and how are those rental rates performing so I can try to understand the health of this deal. So the center point is a public storage facility. And if I select that, it's going to show up on my competition survey as the number one option. And I just want to compare apples to apples here in the sense of selecting just REIT managed facilities. So I'm going to ignore a U-Haul here because it operates a little bit differently. And I'm just selecting facilities that I believe operate in a similar way to my target asset. So this is not, so it really is an apples to apples analysis. And what I selected here gets bubbled up into this competition survey. So it feels seamless. The same flexibility of selecting comps for your competitors page on Radius, we're able to help enable in your actual workflow, in your actual model here in Excel through our Excel plugin powered by our API. And that's really where Radius Relay can shine. And then once you selected it, we're able to pull their full historical data and visualize it so we can see which facilities are performing well, which ones might be dragging down rates in the market, which ones are actually leading the market to understand the comp set a bit more aggressively. So again, data is a part of this story, but being able to visualize it helps me at least really get a sense for which facilities are leading the rates, which ones are underperforming compared to your target asset. And so with their 10 years of rental rate history, I'm able to visualize that a lot more aggressively here in Excel. And at this point, you can kind of put it through an AI model for analysis. But we have full governance and full control over what data we're pulling into our spreadsheets and models, and then selecting the comp set human-led so that there's no type of oversight there. After which point, you can run it through some analysis.
Yeah, this is one example of how we can deliver data into a workflow. Excel is a common place that many of our clients work, but the Radius Relay product is really designed to put that data where you need it. So whether it's in Excel or Power BI workflows or AI or wherever you need that data, we can inject it.
Awesome. So we're going to move on to recapping the Radius forecast with James kind of touching on some of the major takeaways.
Yeah, so if you haven't downloaded and read our annual forecast that we published in January of this year, I would encourage everyone to log in and download it. If you don't have an account, you can sign up for free at radiusplus.com and download the report. The feedback has been phenomenal. Clients are getting value from this across the board in terms of defining their strategies for the year. We've had clients get value in being able to communicate and articulate an effective story to their investors. The use cases go on, including just great understanding of where we are in the cycle. So if you haven't downloaded that, I would check it out. And we are going to just give a quick update on sort of where we stand. So if we go to the next slide here, we have the web rate growth. Sorry, this is going back to 2018 here. It's the year-over-year growth rate. You could see we are hovering around 0%. So the market is trying to find a bottom here, or is bouncing along a bottom after a prolonged period of negative rate growth. So on the zoomed out view here, not much has changed. The existing home sales, sorry, go back one here. You can go to the next one here to existing home sales, which is the here we go. Which is a major driver of self-storage demand, is also sort of bouncing along the lows here. So from a macro standpoint, it doesn't look like much has changed, but we're going to zoom in and if we go to the next slide, look at Q1 versus Q2. Home sales were negative in the first quarter. There was a lot of pressure in the first quarter on the self-storage industry. Terrible weather in the first quarter impacted the industry, and we also had the Iran war, which caused a lot of uncertainty, as well as the crude oil spike, which further exacerbated the uncertainty in the market. So there was a lot of decision fatigue or postponement of decisions, whether that's moving household or investments for small businesses and things like self-storage. Q1 was tough, but we've seen existing home sales sort of rebound here in Q2 as some of those concerns have eased. And if we go to the next slide here, I think is a great here we are. It's a great representation of sort of what's going on. This is zoomed in a little bit here on the years here. We're only going back to 2024, but you can see late 2025, early 2026. This is Extra Space year-over-year growth rate in their web. And they're interesting because they really prioritize occupancy. They want to get those facilities filled. So in the first half of 2026, Q1, the web rate growth was quite depressed, but we can see that their web rate growth went positive slightly, indicating that they started to fill up. So I think Q2 has been a much better quarter than Q1, but still bouncing along the bottom here in terms of the big picture. Last slide here will be the supply growth. So we talked a little bit about demand, which is the major driver right now in changes in the supply-demand balance. But big picture supply growth is really starting to slow. So these are actual deliveries through the first half of 2026. We can see we're running much lower than deliveries have been in recent years. So this is a very healthy sign for the industry as we add a lot less supply to the markets. The absorption is starting to catch up here with facilities that were delivered in 23, 24. And I think that Extra Space data really highlights the fact that, from a macro standpoint, occupancies are improving and that absorption's improving. Certainly micro markets, it's going to be, every market is going to be different. We always come back to that caveat, but from a macro standpoint, these are really healthy trends where demand seems to be bottoming and supply growth is going to continue to slow meaningfully into 27 and 28, just given the dynamics in the market. So that's an update on the annual forecast, and I will turn it over to Cliff to run some Q&A.
Great. Thank you, James. So if, depending on your technology, on Windows, you have a question on the top right of your screen. I think on Mac, it's top left, but depends on which version of GoToWebinar you have installed. So you should see a little chat box with a question mark up there. Please feel free to ask questions. Would love to engage with you and understand where your head's at and what we can help guide you with and answer any of those questions. The interesting thing about all of these reports and these these data sets and the richness of this data, it's so important to our clients to be able to integrate these with their systems, with their own spreadsheets, with their own analysis tools, and get the results that they're looking for, because everyone seems to have their own secret sauce, right? We all define our own buy box. We all define our own views into the data our own way. And a lot of what this decision intelligence, decision advantage capability is that we're bringing to the table allows you to leverage those differentiators in your own way. James DeGorder said it earlier, we want to meet you where you are. We want to meet you how you work, how you're leveraging technology, and we have very strong opinions on those technologies and what we can help you achieve, whether that be AI or otherwise. So I'd love to hear from you. All right, so I have a question here about, is this replacing the GIS portal? And the answer is no, of course not. So we have our enterprise platform that will exist, allows you to give all the ad hoc capabilities, do all the custom boxes that you want to search on, and it will also then allow you, whether you're leveraging Relay, the API version 1 or 2, control the types of data you're receiving, the richness of that data, and it just enhances the story, and it allows you to pull that into your own systems, leverage that analysis that you're going to do in your own way and fit your need. If you think about the future, imagine what we could build. I could future sell you all day long because I love talking and I love hearing about our roadmap and our plans. Imagine being able to pull all of your data into your own visualization, your own portal, your own custom dashboard, your own custom GIS system. There's all types of amazing things that can be done today that will allow you to view, visualize, make these decisions faster, and gain that advantage over your competition. So someone asked here, where does AI fit? So again, strong opinions here. I believe, we all believe that from an AI perspective, we want our clients to be able to take their analysis, leverage their data, leverage their best practices, leverage their industry knowledge, create those data sets, create their analysis tools, and then leverage AI to help either correlate data, visualize data, interpret it in many, many different ways. But that way it's auditable, it's traceable, it's understandable, you know how decisions are being made. And then we can ask whether AI is doing a good job or not, versus the opposite way, which is allowing AI to either source or pull data from different locations, whether it be Google or elsewhere, and then providing results off of that. So we love the audit trails. We love the ability to prove out the decisions that are being made and generated, and allowing you to get accurate results off of that. I know you don't want to hear me keep speaking, so Kennedy, I'm not sure if we have any other questions or any other insights there, but happy to keep going if we need to.
I guess if that's it, we'll conclude the webinar here then. Thank you everyone for joining, and Cliff and McLean, appreciate your insights. And again, if you guys have questions on where we're headed or how we can be helpful, please use the link I see in the chat, I believe. Yes, to
Yeah, don't be a stranger. Reach out, grab a time with me or Cliff, and I'm happy to discuss how we can help you execute on whatever business goals you're looking to achieve. You know, obviously with the credits being sunset, we're here to support.
I just had a question pop up. Let's see here. Not seeing them. Will the occupancy rate feature be available in the future? I'll let DeGorder or McLean, you have insight into that?
Yeah, occupancy rates will be available here hopefully within a month. Inside the Radius web app as well as in your workflows through Radius Relay. The first iteration of this will be the CMBS occupancy data, where facilities that have CMBS loans against them report their occupancy on typically on an annual basis, but in some cases more frequently. So that will be available soon, and we expect further developments on our occupancy data set going forward.
Let's see. Hearing some REITs are testing different web prices for different customers, same unit, multiple prices advertised. How do we handle this scenario?
That's a great question. This is one's probably more geared towards George, but we are right now testing capturing web rates from whether it's different locations, essentially IP addresses, or from mobile and desktop. A lot of operators are experimenting with delivering different prices. Presumably if you are, yeah, depending on mobile or desktop, you could have different buying preferences or propensities for higher prices. So we are looking at capturing data across these different variables.
Well, it looks like that's the end of the questions there. So appreciate that insight as well. So we'll collate these messages and questions and feedback and links and contact information, and happy to follow up and share that out.
Terrific.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Cliff. Thanks, James. Later, team.